Lake Benning is located in one of the great valleys in the western region of the United States. I was on its southern shore at a ballistic missile test center. My assignment was to train a crew of frogmen to recover nose cones underwater as quickly as possible.
Missile on course. Point of impact 7 miles. 220 degrees. Go, man, go.
Working against time was difficult, but we realized its importance.
Go! Go!
We didn't know that we'd soon be trying to recover something quite different in the same lake. Something even more important and deadly. At 10 o'clock that morning, on the other side of the lake, a 40-foot cruiser approached the dock that served the government research installation. It was traveling slowly for a reason. This was the reason.
I'm Bentham. Captain Stevens, security officer. May I see your clearance papers, please?
I've already been cleared by your Los Angeles office.
I know, but we have to verify it again. It's a classified project.
I'm here to see Dr. Schiller.
Yes, I know. He's on his way.
I'm sure you'll find those papers all in order. Max!
Hello, John.
Good to see you.
It's been over a year. You're looking fine.
And you look overworked.
No need checking those, Captain. He knows almost all we know. How long did we work together? 5 years?
Come on aboard, Max.
All in good order, sir. And good fishing.
Thank you.
You know, I can't remember the last time I spent a whole day fishing.
Well, it's your own fault, Max. I always told you. Relax. Live a little.
The boat pulled out and dropped anchor a half-mile offshore.
Max, you're being foolish working yourself to death for the government.
I don't think so.
Put my system together with your process and we could make millions.
What would I do with millions? Buy more research equipment? Hire more scientists to help me? I already have this.
But what you create belongs to the government.
Is that bad?
Max, you and I could have the missile industry in the palm of our hands.
John, after 5 years, I would think you would know me better than that. I will never leave government service.
But the rewards are so poor.
I'm happy. I'm content. And when you see what I've brought, maybe you will agree to come in with me and bring your system with you.
Give my system to the government?
They will pay you generously.
It improves your old process?
Vastly.
It'll work with my system?
It will?
Can I see it?
Yes. I brought it to convince you that your life's work belongs here. There's a summary page on top. If you agree to come in with me, I'll let you see the rest of it. You will end up working for science, too.
Quick, get it! I'll get it!
Did you get it?
No! I'll try again! I couldn't find it!
Hello, Project Tempra. Hello, come in, Tempra. Tempra, come in.
Dr. Schiller? Yes, it is.
Okay, Mr. Nelson.
All right, fellas, let's hit it.
We searched for the briefcase systematically, just as we had hunted nose cones. The water was very clear. We didn't find anything. Then I spotted something. It was a noose of some kind hanging from the hull.
Sorry, Dr. Schiller. Nothing down there.
But it must be there.
Nope. Briefcase is pretty large, you know. If it was down there, we'd have found it.
But this is where it fell over. We haven't moved from this spot.
Might have been swept away. Did you notice any current down there, Mr. Nelson?
No. But I did notice something else.
What?
Well, when I was in the Navy, we used to tow fellas underwater sometimes.
What are you getting at?
There's a line attached to your bow. It's underwater.
A line? What do you mean, a line?
A line that might have towed a diver that was hidden beneath your boat.
A man I towed here, I suppose. Max, what kind of fools are these men you're working with?
Wait a minute. I didn't say you had anything to do with it.
Dr. Schiller, how well do you know Mr. Bentham?
Well, we worked together at the university. That was some years ago. I know him as a colleague.
I mean, personally, how well do you know him?
I know. John, what is the line doing there?
You're all insane, every one of you!
We're wasting time. If there were a diver down there, he's getting away.
Sergeant, take this boat and crew back to the base.
I refuse.
And hold that man.
I insist on my rights. You have no authority for doing this, Captain.
Mike, we've got to get that diver. How do we go about it?
Just like recovering nose cones. All my men are ready.
Let's go.
Okay.
There wasn't any doubt that the portfolio had been taken by a scuba diver. And there was only one way for him to escape from the lake. The whole shore behind us was occupied by Project Tempera and was under guard. He had to go across the lake. It was a long haul.
Island over there. Be a good place for him to stop.
Yeah. Couldn't have gotten ahead of us, could he? Already on that island or past it?
No, I don't think so. Even if he'd have picked up the portfolio the moment it went overboard, he wouldn't have reached the island yet. All right, he's got to be back there someplace. Coming this way. Cut across his path, huh? Okay, well, let's go, fellas. Here we go.
The diver has no sense of direction underwater. We have to rely completely on our compasses. We deployed ourselves underwater and took concealed positions in the thick grass of the lake. While we waited below, the captain was watching the surface for telltale bubbles. Our line of interception lay across the most likely path of the thief. What we didn't expect was that the tall grass had already provided cover for him as well as for us. While we were waiting in ambush, he was watching our every move. He made a quick and bold decision to knock us off one by one. He came up behind Court. A desperate struggle went on 20 feet behind us, but we weren't aware of it. We were intently watching ahead. Court was in trouble. We had to bring him to the surface fast.
No more diving from today. Do you see anything? Any bubbles?
Not a sign.
He's probably reached that island by now.
Why don't we just go ashore and take him when he shows up?
No, I'm afraid if he sees us, we'll scare him off. He won't go ashore. Let's go around the other side of the island, huh? We'll get him when he comes out of the water again.
Right.
Take her around the other side, huh? Okay. See if you can find a shelter. Okay. So he won't see us.
Meanwhile, the thief had a chance to reach the island. We circled the island, but we didn't see him. This was a lot tougher than finding nose cones. They don't move and they don't fight back.
There!
Bubbles, you see him?
Yeah. Well, if you're moving fast. fast for him to be swimming. He must have a schooner. Get over there fast, huh, Skipper? See his trail?
We'll nab him when he surfaces.
Now, we might lose him. Better take him now. Court, we're bracketed. You take one side, I'll take the other. Let us know we're right on top of him, huh?
Right. Go!
He fought like an enraged bull. He was fighting for his life. But a judo hold on his neck did the trick.
Come on, you got your breath now. Who you working for? You were brought to the base underwater on that troll line, weren't you? Weren't you?
You know the penalty for espionage, don't you?
Espionage? I didn't know what was in that briefcase. Bentham's the man you want.
Let's go collect Bentham. Come on, go. Get him down. Go ahead, Skipper, huh?
Hi, I'm Lloyd Bridges, inviting you to join us for another action-packed story of underwater adventure 1 week from today.
I was on board the Olympic with George Bryan, a young geology professor who had located what he believed to be a rich vein of uranium in an underwater cave. He had been working on the project for many months and now needed professional help. His wife, Susie, had helped him in the original exploration, but he didn't want to take any more risks with her. Deep sea caves are tricky business and strictly not for amateur divers. Also on board was Bryan's skipper, a likable old sea dog that everybody called Pop.
Good luck, boys. I'll have a nice hot meal ready for you when you come up.
Good luck to you, Pop.
Equipped with water-tested Geiger counters, we took off to recheck and resurvey the potential uranium field. As we approached the area of the cave, we activated our Geiger counters. We immediately picked up a faint signal, which kept getting stronger as we proceeded. This was good news. The strong signals were leading us straight to Bryan's uranium find. There she was, the cave, like a big, craggy jaw, waiting to snap at anything that came along. Our Geigers were now chattering like a couple of magpies. Bryan was right. This was a real hot cave that he'd found. Bryan was eager and excited and headed straight for the opening. As he did, I felt a slight jar and heard a low, distant rumble. Suddenly, loose rocks and shale started cascading down the mouth of the cave. Then there was a sharp report, a loud roar. A swirl of muddy water and a violent turbulence sent me spinning. Tons of debris and rocks crashed down in the cave's entrance. We had been hit by the brute force of an underwater landslide. The force of the underwater landslide gradually slacked off, and I looked for Bryan. He had disappeared. He could only be in one place. The turbulence had swept him into the cave. The cave was completely blocked and sealed by a huge rock. In a sort of foolish desperation, I tugged at the rock. No use. It was like trying to budge Gibraltar. I saw Bryan in an eerie sort of half-light, lying there helpless, trapped. I flashed my light at him, hoping to get some sort of recognition. Finally, he signaled back, but it was obvious that he was pinned down, his legs buried under heavy rocks, one arm useless. There was just one ray of hope. His breathing gear appeared to be okay. I was doing him no good down there, so I headed for the surface. Bryan knew the situation that he was in, poor devil. In less than an hour, Susie would no longer be his wife. She'd be his widow. He had less than 46 minutes of air left.
You got any big hooks aboard?
Nothing like that, Mike. Only the heavy anchors. I've been frying up the calicos.
What about a ship-to-shore radio?
Well, sure, we have everything. Electricity, fancy plumbing. They like the old days, Mike.
Where is that radio?
Up forward in the wheelhouse.
That pier's about 6 miles away, isn't it?
Yeah, about that.
What frequency is the pier radio on?
We're already on it.
Olympic 542, calling the pier. Come on pier. Olympic 542, calling the pier. Come on in, pier.
What's happened? Where's Brian?
He's in trouble. Underwater landslide. Olympic 542, calling the pier. Come on in, pier. Come on in, pier.
Is he hurt?
I wish it were only that. He's trapped.
Olympic 542, this is the pier. Come in, Olympic 542.
This is Nelson. Mike Nelson. I'm on board the Olympic. Brian's boat. B for boy, R-Y-A-N. Brian. Now listen to me.
I didn't have time to do much explaining. I talked fast and convinced the pier manager that all-out speed was vital. I told him to beg, borrow, or steal a couple of big hooks, and to get them to me right now. I briefed him quickly about Brian and hoped that I'd made him realize how desperate the situation was.
This is very important. You get him over here as fast as you can.
It's that bad, huh, Mike?
It's real bad, Pop.
Can I help?
Yeah, sure. Plenty. As soon as that boat gets here, oh, we better clear the decks so we'll get ready to move fast, huh?
We'll make it, son.
We better. Gotta be here by now.
He'll be here any minute, son.
You know what to do now, as soon as it comes alongside.
Right. There she is now.
Yeah, that's them, all right. All right, now listen, Pop. When I find that cave, I'll send up one of these flares. In the split second you see it, come on over and drop those hooks, huh?
Right.
But give me plenty of slack now, remember?
Plenty of slack.
Okay. When I send up the other flare, I want a strong, steady pull.
Strong, steady.
Don't yank it too hard, huh? Slow pull.
Right.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
The man at the pier had done a fine job. Only 14 minutes had elapsed since I had radioed him. When I saw the girl, I knew immediately that it was Brian's wife. She knew that her husband was in grave trouble. She was already in her diving gear.
You got another one like that? Yeah, Mike. You go with Pop, huh? Okay. You Mrs. Brian? Yeah, that's her. I'm Mike Nelson.
He's in that cave, isn't he?
Yeah. It was an underwater landslide.
How much air has he got left? I want the truth.
About 30 minutes.
Does he have a chance?
If we hurry. How you doing with those hooks, Pop?
Coming along.
I'm going with you.
No. Gotta do this alone. Take less
Mr.
time.
Nelson, I'm going with you.
All right. Here. Maybe you can't help it then. Get your light, huh? Let's go.
Stand by, boys. I'm going to take the wheel.
I really didn't want Susie down there with me. I had to move fast and surely, and I felt that I could do it better alone. But but I just couldn't refuse her. It could have been her last chance to see her husband alive. At the cave, the slide had quieted down completely. The water, fortunately, was clear and calm. Brian appeared to be weakening, but at least he was alive and conscious. It was impossible to get a firm bite on the rock. Where it didn't crumble, it was slippery, and there wasn't time enough to drill into it. We finally managed to get a mild hole in the rock. I sent up the flare. I guess Susie sent up a prayer.
Stand by!
When the hooks broke loose, I knew that it nearly broke Susie's heart. It was rough. There were the two of them, no more than 20 feet apart. It might as well have been 20 miles. I understood her feelings as she tried to force her way through the impossibly small opening to get to her husband. I just had to be rough with her. Before I could calm her down, she had fouled up her air intake. We had to share mine.
There for a bit.
What happened? The tank got caught down there. Wrecked her air hose. She'll be all right.
What about Brian?
Oh, those hooks will never grab that rock. That gear of mine, where'd you stow it?
In the forward forecastle.
What are we gonna do? We gotta get him out of there. We just gotta. He'll die. Oh, he'll die. Oh, God.
Take it easy, Susie. Take it easy. Dynamite?
Yeah. I brought it along in case I do some blasting in the cave.
You want to try to tear the rock loose?
That's right.
Kind of risky, ain't it?
I gotta set the charges in just the right place so the rock will absorb most of the concussion.
It's an awful responsibility, ain't it, son?
You got any other suggestion? We can't just sit here while that man's life ticks away down there, can we?
No other way?
I can't think of any other way. Brian's pinned. He can't help me put that line around the rock.
We had a problem like this in the Seabees once. We figured it out with some small animals.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, with gophers.
Gophers? What do you mean?
Well, we had to put some heavy cable through long lengths of small pipe.
Yeah?
Yeah. We just tied light lines onto the gophers and sent them through.
It's a real crazy idea, but it's better than dynamiting. Pop, cut me off about 12 feet of that fishing line of yours, huh? Come on, quick, quick. Hurry up, Pop. Yeah, hold on. Give me the line. Hold him tight now.
I got him. Easy, son, easy.
That's got it. Try to take my spear gun, Pop.
Right.
That's the same deal as before. When you see the flare, you pull.
Okay.
What's he doing now, Pop? Is there still a chance?
As long as you keep trying, there's always a chance, Susie. And he's trying. He's always trying.
If Pop could use a small animal to carry a light line through a small pipe, maybe I could do the same thing with a little fish. If only I could use the fish as a messenger to bring a small line around that rock. Then I'd have a way to haul a heavy line through. And I'd have a fighting chance to move the rock. I signaled to Brian, hoping that he was still alive. He still was. We still had a chance. A bleak one, but a chance. I tied the heavy line to the light one. From past experience, I knew that some fish are attracted by light, and I wanted to attract this one my way real bad. I had to get that line. He came nearer. I reached out to grab him, but he was too fast for me. There was only one way left. I had to spear him. The first shot had to be it. Time was short and Brian was getting weaker. I took dead aim.
There's the flare.
Good boy, Mike!
Good for you, Mike.
I got him!
Oh, Poppy! His legs will be all right, won't they, Mike?
Oh, sure. Now, one leg of his might give him a little trouble, but he can take it. Pretty durable character, that husband of yours.
As soon as I'm up and about, I'm going to call you again, Mike. That uranium is still there.
Hey, see what I mean?
I don't think I'll ever eat another fish as long as I live. Maybe the one that saved my life.
The fish that saved your life is Mike Nelson.
You're passing out awards, Susie. Pop here's the one that should get it. Now, prior to the Navy.
I wasn't in the Navy. I was in the Seabees, the best construction outfit in the whole service. Right, son?
Right, Pop.
I'll be back next week at this same time with another sea hunt story. Plan to be with us again, huh?
I had been hired as the safety man for a new stunt in a water ski show. It was to be performed by the star, Hal Peters. The stunt would be a thriller, if he could live through it. It was a deliberate fall from a kite 100 feet in the air. His boss and his fiancée were in the stands. They were as worried as I was, but at least they could see him. There was someone else who was watching, too. The stunt had worked, and Hal thought he had it made. He didn't know it then, but he'd have been luckier if it hadn't worked.
He made it, Joe. He made it.
Things had gone off perfectly on the first attempt. The others were relieved and happy, but I still had some mental reservations.
That was sensational, Hal. Give me a couple of days for publicity, then we can put it in the show, okay?
Sure. I can spot it right after we do our topside tandem.
Oh, I don't know, Hal. It's awfully dangerous.
Dangerous? What do you mean? It's a cinch.
What do you think, Mike?
It's no cinch, that's for sure.
See, he thinks you were just lucky.
What do you mean lucky? That was skill.
Don't laugh it off, Hal. If Mike thinks the dive is too dangerous, maybe we'd better just forget it.
Oh, come on, Mike. That's a great routine.
What do you say, Mike?
Let me try it first, huh?
But Mike, you're not really a water skier. You ski all right, but you're no expert like Hal here.
So, if I can get away with it, then we'll know it's safe, huh?
Listen, I got you out here mainly because I was afraid Hal had hurt himself and needed help after he hit the water. I didn't hire you to risk your own neck.
You wanted my opinion, didn't you?
Yes,
Well, I can't give it to you unless I try the stunt myself.
Okay, Mike, it's your neck.
Ever since I learned to water ski at Silver Springs, it's been one of my favorite sports. Still, as the boat picked up speed, the test didn't seem nearly as intriguing as it had on dry land. I was thinking of the man who had a tiger by the tail and was afraid to let go.
There he goes.
When I hit the water, I let myself fall as deep as I could. I wanted to know the maximum time for the underwater part of the stunt. I came up as slowly as possible. A week later, the great show was in full swing. A fine company of water skiers from Cypress Gardens were on hand and performing beautifully. During the first part of the show, I was underwater setting up an automatic movie camera. I was going to record the underwater part of Hal's act for a newsreel company. One of the big events was skiers soaring on kites. Hal's act would be based on this. a champion skier, demonstrated a most difficult trick. He was water skiing without skis. It takes perfect coordination. It's kind of hard on your feet, too. The water ski jumps followed, including some fancy turns in midair. Finally, the show reached its high point.
Now for the climax of our show. Hal Peters in a death-defying leap from the clouds.
Hal's big moment had arrived. Hal's fall had looked all right to me, but he was taking a long time to come up. I knew that it was much too long. I had to get to him, and fast.
I'm sorry, June. He didn't make it.
No.
Mr. Ross? Dick James of the Chronicle. Cause of death, drowning? They sure?
Well, as sure as they can be without an autopsy.
Autopsy, no.
I'll get you some water.
You Mike Nelson, the guy who pulled him out?
Yeah, that's right.
How do you think the accident happened?
I don't know. He was a top swimmer.
You never had any trouble with that stunt before.
I did it. I killed him. It's all my fault.
Easy now, June, easy.
Oh, Mike.
If it was anybody's fault, it was mine.
No,
I let him do the stunt.
Mike. No.
Better take her home, huh? Come on, let's go home, huh?
A few hours later, June still seemed to need watching. My own mind was troubled, too, by unanswered questions.
Hal. Hal.
You all right, June? I'm still here with you. You had quite a long sleep for yourself.
Oh, go away, Mike. Please. I'm a jinx. Any man gets close to me gets killed.
Oh, now stop talking.
Mike, listen to me. Please go away. I don't want anything to happen to you.
Nothing's going to happen to me.
Please, Mike, go. Hurry, please.
All right. Here, you take this pill first, huh? Doctor wanted me to give it to you as soon as you woke up. It'll quiet your nerves, huh?
Now go, Mike, please. Hurry.
All right.
Go. Get out, Mike.
All right. Now, you take it easy. You stop imagining things now, you hear?
Marine Stadium was empty, but I rounded up the boatmen. I had to try that stunt again, and I had to do it exactly as Hal had done it. The stunt worked just as it had in our tests. I couldn't see how Hal could have been killed by it. Then I remembered my movie camera and went to retrieve it. The film might answer my questions. There was something on the film that I was anxious for the police to see.
Wait a minute, hold it now. Back up a bit. There. See that diver down there? Doesn't look like he's just waiting for somebody to come down? For Hal?
That's a pretty dim figure. Could be anybody. You were down there, could be you.
No. I was on the beach at the time.
Well, that camera operates automatically, doesn't it? Couldn't you have triggered it by mistake?
No, that's impossible. No. I can tell by the way he swims underwater that it's not me. I don't handle myself that way. I'm positive that this is someone else.
You trying to tell me that Hal Peters' death wasn't an accident? There was murder?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I don't know, Mr. Nelson. A man jumps from a speeding kite 100 feet into the water. He figures to get it. If that's all the evidence you have.
No, it isn't. There's something else.
Well, let's hear it.
I took her home, Hal's girl, after it happened. When I left the apartment, I was almost run down by a car.
Couldn't that have been accidental?
No, this was deliberate. The car was aimed right at me.
Can you prove that?
No.
Car kept right on going.
Yeah, top speed.
You get the license number?
Oh, it all happened so fast I wasn't able to.
And you think there's some connection between that and what happened to Hal Peters?
I think there could be, yeah.
On the way back, I stopped at June's apartment. It was lucky that I did.
You sure this is what you want to do? You've made up your mind.
I'm going home, Mike. There's nothing left here for me anymore.
Now, before you go, there's something that I'd like to know. You said that anybody that got close to you got killed.
Well, why'd you say that?
Forget it. I didn't know what I was talking about.
That's what I figured then.
Has something happened to make you change your mind?
Yes, it has.
What, Mike? What was it?
Somebody tried to kill me.
No, not again.
What do you mean, not again? June, come on now. Tell me. Tell me.
Hal wasn't the first one.
All right, now go on.
There was another one 3 years ago in California.
Oh?
He was a Navy diver like the man I was married to at the time.
You were married to a diver?
His name was Steve Garth.
Garth?
Leeds is my maiden name.
I see.
I started to use it again after the divorce.
Come on now, sit down. Tell me what happened.
Steve had a partner, Bill Simons.
Yeah?
I liked Bill, but not the way Steve thought I did. The two of them were working together one day on the bottom of San Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
Steve was the only one who came back up.
You mean your husband drowned him?
Officially, it was an accident. But the Navy gave him a dishonorable discharge. I just don't know, Mike.
If you don't know, maybe you better stick around for a while. We might find out something. If those accidents have been accidents, that's one thing. And if they haven't, well, it won't do you any good to run away. You're going to have to face it sooner or later. Might as well be now.
But what can I do?
Nothing. Not right now, anyway. But I can. Chronicle? I'd like to speak to Mr. James, please.
Mike, please be careful.
Mr. James, this is Mr. Nelson. Mike Nelson, I was That's right. I've got a story that you might be interested in. Yeah.
This is James of the Chronicle bringing you the midnight roundup of the news. On the local front, Mike Nelson, the noted skin diver, revealed today that he intends to prove that the tragic death of Hal Peters, the water skier, was not accidental, but that Peters was murdered. Nelson said that early tomorrow he will retrieve an underwater camera that will provide documentary proof of the killer's identity.
I hoped the news story would bring the murderer to the lagoon. Now I had to bait my hook and wait. The dummy in place, bubbles and all, and concealed myself, and none too soon. Another diver was already moving in with a spear gun. As he took aim at the dummy, I felt as if I was witnessing my own murder. He pulled his knife, and as he went in for the kill, I went for him. I knew that it must be Steve Garth, June's ex-husband. He was brave enough when it came to ambushing someone, but he didn't like it when the odds were even. He was strong and seemed to know every trick that I knew. He tried everything. Finally, I was able to get a judo hold on him and pull off his air hose. When he had swallowed more water than he could stand, he gave up. I brought him to the surface. He was close to drowning.
Did a fine job, Nelson. You ought to be on the force.
Oh, thanks, Lieutenant. But I didn't do Hal any good. Sure wish that we could have stopped Garth before he killed him.
Well, that's one of the heartbreaks of this job. I just talked to June on the phone.
How is she?
Oh, she's still pretty shaken up. She's going to stick with the show.
That's good. She'll be all right.
And now, that lovely acrobatic water star, June Lee.
June threw herself into her work and came through in fine shape. She's touring the country now, top attraction in her class.
Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. You know, 3/5 of the world is covered by the sea. And how little most of us know about that underwater world. Go below with us again next week, huh? For another thrilling adventure in Sea Hunt.
It started on a calm, sunny day in the Caribbean, on a scientific search for some ancient Mayan Indian relics. Two young scientists, Peter and Nancy Ordway, handled the archaeological end of the expedition. I was in charge of the underseas work. We were trying to find a cave down here just offshore where the Indians supposedly had hidden some religious treasures centuries ago. I was just about to call it a day when a shark gave me a brand new lead. Out of nowhere, an arrow slammed into him. Sharks are tough. They can be killed, of course, but it isn't easy. This one was dead in a matter of seconds. The arrow that killed him must have been fired with tremendous force, and it must have been tipped with a very deadly poison. I drew a mental line from where I'd seen the shark hit by the arrow to where it had probably come from. Then I spotted it. A trigger line that led to an ancient crossbow. A booby trap. Clever and elaborate. Too elaborate to have been set up just to kill sharks. No argument about it. This device had been prepared to deal out death to human intruders. Like me. When I surfaced, I brought along the weapon that had nearly finished me off down below.
This crossbow is really old.
How old would you say it is?
Well, 4 centuries at least.
400 years?
Yeah. You know what that is? That's an authentic weapon of the conquistadores.
Hey, what about this arrow?
Well, the same story, Nan. But the arrowhead. The arrowhead is definitely Mayan Indian.
From what you say it did to that shark, it must have really been loaded with poison.
It was. See how deep that poison pocket is?
Yeah, how do you suppose they sealed it to make it last that long?
What makes you think it had to last that long?
Mike, are you trying to suggest that that was a booby trap? And that it was meant for us?
Well, if somebody wanted to scare us away from that cave, can you think of a better way to do it?
Who would want to do a thing like that?
The pearl divers, Mike?
I don't know. They're the only people we've seen around here. They're working out beyond that reef the last couple of days.
Yeah. Yeah, they're out there now. Let's go out and ask them what they know about it.
Well, it's not going to do any good. They're not going to tell us anything.
Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes, señor. ¿Cómo le va? Por favor, ¿puedo hacerle algunas preguntas?
Maybe he speaks English. We found this in the waters off the western island. Is it yours? You know anything about it? Listen, we're not going to cause you any harm. We're scientists. We've got permission from your government to explore these islands. When we left the pearl divers, I was sure that we'd accomplished nothing.
Actually, we'd picked up our most promising clue so far to those long-lost Mayan relics.
Mike, we've hit pay dirt. I'm sure of it now.
You know that amulet the head man was wearing?
Yeah, what about it?
Well, I made a sketch of it. Look,
Why'd you make two sketches of it?
just one of the amulets. This is a sketch of the arrowhead.
They look identical to you?
Look, the same design, the same workmanship.
These people have got to be descended from the group who escaped from the conquistadores. I know it. Mike, you marked the spot where you found the crossbow, didn't you?
Yeah.
Good. I bet you we find the cave within 10 yards of it.
I'll soon find out.
Hey, I'm going down with you.
Oh, you better stay here. We might run into a series of booby traps down there. I've had a lot of experience in underwater demolition work, you have.
Well, I could still be of some help to you.
No, you better stay here.
Now, wait a minute, Mike. You can't go down there by yourself, not when you know it's dangerous. Remember what you taught us at Silver Springs? You said that underwater safety was built on the buddy system, remember?
Okay, you win.
We got down without incident or accident and found the rocks that I'd used to mark the booby trap. I ordered Peter to stay put while I scouted around for additional traps. Wartime experience led me to expect that the crossbow would have a mate placed not too far away. That's what the boat hook was for, to probe the vegetation yard by yard. It worked. The hook hit another trigger rope and launched a second poison arrow. I went after the arrow while Pete Ordway searched for the bow that had fired it. It turned out to be the exact mate of booby trap number 1. I knew we were on the right track now. The entrance to the cave had to lie somewhere between the traps, and probably guarded by a third trap. I was right about the cave entrance, wrong about further obstacles. As far as I could see, that is. We found ourselves inside a kind of natural tunnel. We followed it and ran into currents that kicked up an almost blinding cloud of mud and gravel. The current was flowing through a narrow opening up ahead. Pete Ordway thought that he had a better chance than I to get through, but I pulled rank on him to lead the way. was a tight squeeze, but I made it. Into a passageway so narrow that I had to slither through it like a serpent. I had told Pete to wait for me, but curiosity got the better of it. From behind me, I heard the roar of falling rocks and thought that I'd been trapped. But it was Pete who'd been caught. I cursed myself for having overlooked this third booby trap. This simple rock slide that had worked where the complex ones had failed. It had worked, all right. Though Pete Ordway was still conscious, he'd been badly hurt. I knew now that if we kept on searching, we might find death before we found the shrine. We made it upstairs somehow and managed to get Pete's broken ribs taped up.
What happened?
I think maybe you cracked a couple of your ribs, boy. You're gonna have to take it easy.
How, Mike? What hit me?
You set off a booby trap.
That rock slide, it wasn't an accident?
Oh, you tripped a wire. It was just lucky that I didn't.
You think those pearl divers did it, Mike?
Yeah, but I don't see how, Nan. Without an air tank, they'd drown before they got halfway through that tunnel. It's so long.
Well, how was it done, then?
Oh, that's not the important question, not now.
Gotta get you to the hospital. We can talk about the other later, huh?
No. That can wait.
Listen, you took quite a banging.
Look, Mike, we're on the verge of a tremendous discovery. We must be, or that booby trap wouldn't have been where it was.
I think you're right.
How soon can you go back down?
First, I gotta get you to a doctor.
Look, I tell you, I'll be all right.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
All right. I'm on my way.
Mike, I'm going with you.
Hey, one hero in the family is enough.
Look, at Silver Springs, you said I was one of your best pupils.
Well, not there now.
Oh, please, Mike. You might come across a clue to what we're looking for and pass it right by. You're not a trained observer, you know. In archaeology, I mean.
What do you say, Pete?
Sorry, Mike, she's right. You better take her with you.
Okay. Get into your gear. Inside the cave, we worked our way down the tunnel very carefully, on the lookout not only for traps, but for possible clues to the relics.
found neither clues nor relics. Perhaps that made Nancy impatient, I don't know. But when we reached the rock slide that had nearly killed her husband, she decided to take it from there on her own. I caught up with her, though, and I thought that I'd managed to shake a little sense into her. We continued on together, but not very far. This looked like the end of the road, at least for someone my size. I tried to get through the narrow opening without my tanks, but that didn't work. The lecture that I'd given Nancy didn't work either. The minute my back was turned, off she went again. She wanted 5 minutes to explore what she was sure now was the long-sought undersea shrine. There was nothing that I could do but let her. The shrine was there, as we'd suspected, a strange collection of tiny pre-Columbian idols of incalculable historic significance. Nancy inspected them with beating heart. I knew that she was acting out of scientific zeal, or whatever you want to call it, but that didn't make me any the less angry with her, or any the less worried about her safety. The chief object in the shrine, the figure of the Mayan god of war, overwhelmed Nancy. She couldn't know that it was guarded by an unseen booby trap. The sword hilt was the trigger. The closely woven netting, weighted along the bottom, was too heavy for a woman to lift alone. When Nancy hadn't come out after 8 minutes, I was certain that something was wrong. I couldn't waste any more time, but I couldn't reach her from where I was. I had another plan.
Mike, where's Nancy? What happened to her?
She's trapped in a cave. It's probably the one we're looking for.
You mean you left her there?
I had to. The entrance was too small. I couldn't get to her. There's got to be another way.
What do you mean?
From the other side. An entrance into the tunnel from above water. Close enough for those pearl divers to set off that booby trap that you knocked over.
Well, how are you going to find it, this entrance?
One of those pearl divers is going to find it for me. No, don't. So you speak English, huh? The cave where you set up the booby trap. There's another entrance from offshore, isn't there? Isn't there? You know, don't you? Don't you?
Yes.
All right. You're going to take me there. Oh, no. You go first. Any traps, you spring them.
My guide took me at my word. He did spring another arrow trap. It missed, but he wasn't through trying. When we got to Nancy, he took the lead in helping to free her, but only because he wanted to trap us both. That didn't work either. My first job was to get Nancy to the surface. I headed her in the right direction. Then I turned back for the Indian. Maybe he didn't deserve a break, but by the time I got to him, he sure needed one.
You should have let me die.
Yeah, why?
I failed my people. The strangers will come now, steal our treasures.
The only thing we're going to take are photographs. Pictures?
Why?
To show the world what a mighty race you came from. Hi there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is certainly a lot of fun, and it's full of adventure. See some more of it again next week, huh? When there'll be another excursion into that fabulous underwater world of Sea Hunt.
The island republic of Porto Santo is often called the Pearl of the Caribbean Sea. Of course, we often forget that a pearl is the disease of the oyster. The island republic had its own disease, General Gomez. He ruled Porto Santo with an iron fist. Many forts and high sentry towers reminded me that this island paradise was nothing else but a miniature police state. I believe in minding my own business. I came here to dive, not to get involved in politics. At least this was my intention. Driving through peaceful lagoons made me forget the high tension around me. There was to be a general election in 3 days, and I didn't even know that Professor Mikado was the leader of the opposition. Nor did I know that one day soon, I'd have the dubious pleasure of meeting him 15 feet underwater. The scenery underwater was just as picturesque as it was above. I was testing an improved scooter. There were other skin divers there, too, watching. A pretty girl and her underwater playmate. I wasn't aware then that they had a special plan for me and my equipment. One that I would long remember. The next day, I was spending my time 60 feet below, looking for certain rare shells from marine land of the Pacific. I filled my sack with a few collector's items and began to surface. My timing was all wrong. I was held at bay, at gunpoint. I witnessed a very bloody battle between some revolutionary students and some policemen of General Gomez. I headed for my boat as soon as I was allowed to. But even here, I found 2 unwelcome visitors, the skin divers that I had met underwater, followers of the missing Professor Mikado. They invited me on a little sightseeing tour. They had information that the missing Professor Mikado was murdered by the dictator's henchmen. They wanted me to find his body. The proof of his murder would swing public opinion. They had hoped that they could persuade me to come up with the evidence. The last thing in the world that I wanted was to get mixed up in a local squabble. But if these 2 students were telling the truth, human rights were being violated in a way that no one could ignore. But were they telling the truth? Just to get a look at the proof they offered was dangerous enough, because it meant scouting around the well-guarded summer palace of El Presidente. But to get the evidence they wanted would be to risk death.
You want proof, senor? These will give it to you. The summer palace of El Presidente.
Oh?
Look at the pier below the palace. The iron chains.
Yeah, I see it.
Before they put the body in the water, the guards said they weighted it down with such a chain.
So?
Look at the pier.
On the right side.
Uh-huh.
The chain between the posts there is missing. No?
It's missing. What's that prove?
What if you should find the chain in the lagoon, tied to his ankles?
Will I?
On my word of honor, senor. So, will you help us?
I don't know yet.
There is so little time, senor. If there is anything more we could tell you.
Well, you've told me enough.
Then what?
But is it the truth?
Why would we lie to you?
Gomez would love to be able to nail a United States citizen for plotting against him. You could be setting me up for that kind of a deal.
You think we might be agents for Gomez?
It's possible. I intend to find out.
If we are not agents, you will help us?
I'll get in touch with you tomorrow at this same time. Where?
There's a bridge over the canal that leads to the sea. You know it?
Yeah.
I'll be there. Under the bridge at 4 o'clock.
All right, 4 o'clock. Let's get back to the boat, huh?
My friend Jerry Rockmill was the able representative in Puerto Santo of a news service from the States. It was a fortunate coincidence for me because I had a lot of questions to ask. And she had the answers.
This man Gomez is bad news, Mike. The worst for us since Perón.
For us?
From any point inside this country, you could hit almost any point inside ours with an intermediate range missile. And Gomez is talking a deal with people who'd like to try.
Well, it sounds like a good man to beat in the election.
Sure. Only you can't beat something with nothing, Mike.
What about Mercado? What happened to him?
Now remember, you didn't hear this from me. But Mercado is dead, murdered.
Any idea who might have been responsible for it?
Gomez. But if I ever said so out loud, I'd be on my way out so fast my head would spin. If I had a head left.
What if you could prove that Gomez was in some way responsible for Mercado's death?
Public opinion would turn against him. Gomez would be on his way out.
You know of a young fellow by the name of Jose Garcia?
Yeah. He's the leader of the Mercado group in the university. Why?
He claims that he knows where Mercado's body is. Wants me to recover it.
You did tell him you would.
No, not yet. Can we go? Thanks for the fill-in. I'll let you know what happens, huh?
You are going through with it, aren't you?
Well, I'm going to try.
And I'll get my head kicked in, too.
What do you mean?
Too good a story to miss. There's nothing like on-the-spot coverage.
Hooray. I was right in the middle of something. Something that I should have kept out of.
You sure he meant this place?
Yeah, this is the place, all right.
Garcia?
Yeah. They certainly made sure that he was dead. If I'd have done what he told me to do last night, this wouldn't have happened.
Well, you had to be sure first. You couldn't stick your neck out.
Yeah, well, I'm going to now. And this is my party. You're not invited.
Hey, look, I'm a gate crasher from way back. But we better get out of here. And now.
Yeah. Gomez would love to put this on us.
Looked like a couple of fishermen, but we were on a mission which could easily cost us our lives. Its strange objective was to find a body and a chain on the bottom of a lagoon. I hadn't wanted to get involved in it at all, but now I was up to my neck in it.
that an awful lot to carry? 2 tanks of air?
That's about 60 minutes worth. And I'll use up about 2/3 of it to get there and back. That means I only have about 20 minutes of air to look for that body.
Wouldn't it be safer to move in closer first?
Well, I might be wrong about those patrol boats. You take care now, huh?
Don't worry about me.
The lagoon was pretty far away, but because I had the scooter, unless I ran into trouble, I could count on hitting the entrance in about 15 minutes. The scooter and its light functioned perfectly. There were strong currents, but I went deeper and avoided them. "14 minutes after I'd set out, I entered the lagoon, and I began to search for the pier. As I moved in toward the shore, I was tempted to surface to get my bearings, but I knew better than to risk it.
You have seen something, Ramon?
Yes, Lieutenant. A boat. It has been out there for some time now.
For how long?
20 minutes. It is probably nothing.
Where the safety of our president is concerned, nothing may be overlooked.
Yes, Lieutenant.
She is alone. On a good-sized fishing boat. Does that not seem strange to you, Ramon?
Yes, Lieutenant.
What do you think we should do about it, Ramon?
Go out and investigate?
Yes, Ramon.
So I turned off my scooter and its light and waited. It passed without stopping, and I continued. Soon my light picked up the pilings of the Palace Pier. Now my real work started. I began to spiral in on a wide search area. I was concerned about running out of air.
Senorita. Permit me to present myself. I am Lieutenant Perez of the Palace Guard of His Excellency El Presidente.
Good evening.
And whom do I have the pleasure to be addressing?
Geraldine Rackmore. I'm a United States citizen.
Ah, but of course, Senorita. Who but a North American woman would be fishing at this hour alone?
Well, I guess you're right, Lieutenant. I am alone.
But just to make certain, a formality only, I assure you. You will permit my man to search your boat.
You won't find anything.
I do not expect to. Ramon, investigate. And what luck have you had, Senorita, with your fishing?
Not so good. I just lost a marlin.
You did? It's amazing.
Yes?
There are no marlin in these waters.
I'd used up more than half of my air supply without sighting a trace of what I was after. Yet I didn't want to quit. Then I saw it, the evidence that I was looking for. A length of heavy iron chain. I could see immediately that it matched the fence chain around the summer palace, and I had no doubts as to whose body it was tied to. I'd need proof to show that it was Dr. Mikada's body, so I took from it what I needed. A medallion, and an identification bracelet. I noted the spot well so I could find it again, and headed back.
I found this in the cabin. This boat is registered to a Mike Nelson.
Excellent.
Mr. Nelson, loan me the boat.
He is perhaps a skin diver?
Oh, no, that's my equipment.
Yes? What are these cylinders filled with?
The tanks? Oxygen.
Then I beg of you, do not use them. Underwater, one uses compressed air.
Thanks for the warning.
Punada, senorita. Punada.
I got out of the lagoon and into the open sea without any trouble. Suddenly, a powerful riptide picked me up and spun me around. Unless I got clear of it, I'd use up what little air I had left and would have to surface. Then if one of Gomez's patrol boats came along, that'd be the end of my evidence. And perhaps me. I fought against it with all my strength. In less than 10 feet from the surface, I managed to get clear. I continued toward our boat and hoped my air supply would still get me there, underwater. I knew I must be very close to the boat.
How much longer are we going to play games?
Until you tell me why you are anchored out here in sight of the palace.
All right, I'll tell you. About 2 weeks ago, a man I know, Dr. Mikado, came out to the palace. I haven't seen him since, and I thought he just might come swimming by.
You do not amuse me, Senorita.
I didn't intend to.
Dr. Mikado came to the palace because he wished to withdraw from the elections. He knew his cause was hopeless. A Presidente gave him the opportunity to leave the country. Mikado took it.
I think you really believe that.
El Presidente told me himself. Why should I not believe it? Why?
Because it isn't true.
You dare to say El Presidente lied?
No, not without proof, and I don't have that yet.
Then you never will have.
I'm starting to think you're right.
Of course. Even to think. What is that? Those bubbles. What are they?
Could be Dr. Mikado.
Or Mike Nelson. Ramon. Get her out of sight. Conceal yourself also.
For the first time since I'd left the cruiser, I figured I could relax. I'd get back on board, turn the evidence over to Jerry along with an eyewitness report, and let her take it from there.
Jerry! I'm back.
Senor Nelson, you are under arrest. Where were you and what were you doing?
I don't have to answer your question.
You will, senor. Ramon.
You all right?
This is Lieutenant Perez from the Palace Guard.
Now you will answer my questions, so that the senorita will remain all right. Where were you?
In the lagoon, below the palace.
Why?
I wanted to find out if your president was really a murderer. I found out. He is.
You found Dr. Mikado's body?
Say yes and you will die with a lie on your lips.
Well, there was a body, and there were 3 bullet holes in the back. I'd say it was about 2 weeks ago. Wasn't that about when Mikado disappeared?
Lies. Lies.
This chain came from the palace pier.
What about it?
It was wrapped around the body to weigh it down.
Dr. Mikado is not dead. He is out of the country. You will pay for your lies, senor.
You think these are lies? That's his medallion, his wristwatch, identification bracelet.
Then it is true. All they have said about him is true. All true. If you don't want to run into the night patrol boat, take a northwesterly course.
Thanks, Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Perez was a patriot after all. His love for his country and its laws was stronger than his personal loyalty to its president. The evidence that we had found was given to the opposition party. Public opinion soon defeated Gomez. And my improved scooter checked out as the best friend that Mike Nelson ever had.
I'll be back next week at the same time with another sea hunt story. Plan to be with us again, huh?
Unfortunately, just a few skin divers of the wrong kind can give diving a bad name. That's why when Pete Bates hauled up his lobster pots one day in June and found them empty, he was plenty angry. Figured that he had run into some skin diver trouble. But what he didn't know was that it was soon to become the worst trouble of his life.
Hey, you two! Those are my lobsters! I know you two! You're Joe Gordon! You're Eddie Delaney!
I'm only borrowing them, Pete. It's for an initiation.
Shut up! I'll teach you to steal my catch. Play it, Pop. Help!
Help! They might drown!
So what? Come on!
They might drown!
You just wait! I'll catch you! Next time I'll bring my gun!
A week later, I was in the same area, on the enjoyable assignment of giving skin diving pointers to a pretty marine biologist. Alma Carroll was looking for a certain kind of eelgrass. She made another kind of discovery, a brand new expensive spear gun. On it were the initials ED. The spear gun was ultimately to prove the evidence and the clue to an underwater murder. The local skin diving shop seemed the logical place to check on our find.
Hi, Mike. Hello, Alma.
Hi, Clark. Do you know the diver with initials ED?
ED. Mike, where'd you find this?
About 50 yards off Camino Beach.
This is the one I sold to Eddie Delaney.
The diver who disappeared last week?
Yeah. Mike, I think maybe you better take this to the police.
Yeah, I think I better. Thanks, Clark.
The police were very interested. They asked me to help them. I accompanied an assistant DA on a visit to Eddie Delaney's diving buddy, a parking lot attendant named Joe Gordon.
Yeah, we had a run-in with Pete.
Did he threaten to bring a gun next time?
The old guy didn't mean anything by it. He saw it all skin diving. He thinks we're somehow responsible for the bad catch he's had all season.
Now, that was Sunday. How about the following Tuesday?
I told you. I went by Eddie's house to see if he wanted to go diving that morning. Well, he said he was busy. Well, I didn't want to go either. That was the last time I saw him.
Ever see that spear gun before?
Well, that's Eddie's. Where'd you find it?
In the area around Pete's lobster pots. Is it possible he lost it that Sunday?
No. He had it in the car when we went home that day. I'm sure of it. Hey, wait a minute. You don't think that Eddie went out alone last Tuesday and Pete actually shot him?
I don't think anything. Not yet.
What about Eddie? Was he pretty good underwater?
He's pretty good, at least past the beginner stage.
Would he go out alone?
Oh, no. I taught him better than that.
Oh, you taught him, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Who taught you?
Nobody, really. I've been swimming in these waters ever since I was a kid. Mostly for abalone.
Oh, you must know this area pretty well, then.
Yes, I do.
Any particular spot out here that diver might get into trouble? I mean, like underwater current, caves, thick kelp?
Oh, Eddie was a very cautious guy. He wouldn't go into an area like that with me. He certainly wouldn't go it alone.
Where would he be apt to go?
In the only area he knows.
What was that?
The area around Pete's lobster pots.
That made Pete an even more logical suspect. We interrogated him next.
Tell him the truth, mister. I didn't have no gun. Sure, I told him I did. That was just to scare him.
But you did go fishing last Tuesday.
Tuesday? Don't remember. I don't remember days so good no more. All light to me. Got no place to go.
Well, let me refresh your memory, Pete. The Pier Fish Market says you brought in 28 lobsters on Tuesday afternoon.
28, huh? At least I remember that good. Must be they remember the day. I don't know.
Did you happen to see Eddie Delaney at all that day?
Huh? That one. Better stay away from my catch, I'm telling you.
It's a little late for that. Now, could it be that you came across Eddie Delaney last Tuesday and killed him?
You got no right calling me a liar, mister.
I'm calling you a good deal more than that, Pete. I'm saying you're a possible murderer. You had the motive and the opportunity.
I'll teach you. Go around calling people names. Easy now, Pete. Take it easy. Maybe you didn't actually see Delane himself. But it's possible that you could have seen his bubbles, isn't it?
Whenever I see bubbles, I know skin divers down there stealing my lobsters, maybe.
Did you see any bubbles that day, Tuesday?
No. I don't know.
Are you sure now?
No, I don't know. I didn't see Eddie. I told you, mister, I didn't see Eddie. Now, if you said I did, okay. I'm tired. I don't remember so good no more. I'm going to my boat.
Pete, now do you understand that I could lock you up in jail on suspicion?
Jail? Lock me up? Okay.
Oh, forget about it.
But you just said...
No, I know. Just forget what I said. But be sure you don't leave town.
Sure, mister. Hey, mister, what's all would I leave town? I was born here. Got no place else to go.
What do you think?
I think he's telling the truth. As much as he can remember of it.
Well, that's just the trouble. He can't remember much anymore. If I put him on the stand, it'd be even worse.
Well, whatever did happen to Delaney, Pete didn't shoot him.
What makes you so certain?
The way he was squinting. He's almost blind. He couldn't shoot a gun with any degree of accuracy, especially a moving target in the water.
Yeah, you may be right.
You hold off on this for a couple of days.
You got an idea?
Well, I'd like to take another look around, see if I could find something. After all, I only searched a small area. Maybe Joe Gordon could help me.
All right, let's go talk to him.
Joe Gordon was most cooperative. He insisted on taking time off from his job. Alma came along, and the three of us agreed to divide up the search area. We surfaced according to plan, but none of us had found anything.
What's beyond those rocks?
Just a little cove.
We could try that next.
Well, there's not much sense in that. Eddie would go nowhere near that cove. Matter of fact, none of us would. Strong rip current over there. It's dangerous, and he knew it.
What if he got caught in the rip?
I already thought of that. Check that cove out. The first thing we found out, Eddie had disappeared. There wasn't a sign of him. Anyway, like I said, he wouldn't go anywhere near there.
Well, let's go back to the shop and get some more air.
Sorry, I gotta get back to the job. I'll meet you tomorrow afternoon if you like, huh?
Okay, thanks, Joe.
Good to see you.
Like I said, let's go get our tanks refilled.
Oh, yeah. Now let's... Yeah, go ahead.
Hiya, Pete. Hello, mister.
Ah, what do you got in the sack?
Some lobsters. Hey, maybe you and the lady would like to buy some, huh? Give you a special price, huh?
Why don't you sell them to the fish market?
They don't want my lobsters no more. 18 years been selling to them. I say they don't want my lobsters no more.
Why not?
Yeah, they say something about something in the paper. I don't read too good. I don't know.
Maybe we can use a couple of lobsters. Why don't you come up to the chief with me? I'll get you your money.
Sure, mister.
Hiya, Pete.
Hey, want to buy some lobsters, huh?
Not today, Pete. The DA wants to talk to you. Want to leave your catch someplace?
Look, I'll sell them. Tell him I see him later.
I'm sorry, Pete, but I got to take you in right now.
Officer, can I talk to you? You find something?
Yeah, it kind of looks bad for the old man.
What do you mean?
Well, we searched his shack and found a diver's knife. It's been identified as Delaney's.
Oh?
Excuse me. Okay, Pete. Let's go, huh?
I didn't do nothing, mister. You tell me you wanted to help me. Why you let him take me to jail, huh?
Well, I can't do anything about that, Pop, but I will try to help you.
You will? Hey, you and the lady, you keep my lobsters. I'll give them to you.
Doesn't make much sense, does it, Mike? The knife being found in Pete's house.
It makes sense if somebody's trying to trap him.
Well, that's what I thought. But who?
I don't know for sure yet. But whoever it is figures that this will keep us from searching anymore.
Well, we nearly searched the whole coastline already.
Except that cove.
Joe Gordon kept stressing how dangerous it was. He'd already searched it.
Maybe that's why we should take a look at it. Alma and I started out next morning. The more I thought about it, the more I was convinced that Pete Bates was innocent of the charge of murder. But we needed proof. Searching the cove that had interested me so much the day before was our last remote hope.
Coming up.
Gotta make it on his own. Come on, Les! All the way!
Joe Gordon.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
I don't know.
Well, nice going, boy. You're in. Okay, Frankie, old man, it's your turn. Let's go. Come on.
Oh, wait a minute, will you? Let me get my fins.
What are you going to do?
See what they're up to.
Oh, I'll come with you.
No, you stay here. I don't know what I'm going to get into down there. And keep down. Don't let them see you.
Well, how you doing, boy?
All right, Phil.
Hey, quit stalling. Either you do or you don't.
What are you scared of? You can't do no more than drown.
swam around the point of the cove. One thing was certain now. Joe Gordon was lying. There wasn't any riptide current. But why was he lying? And what was he doing here with the other divers? Then I saw something below. A sunken ship. Joe and the other diver weren't in sight yet. I decided to explore. What I found was a collection of sterling silver, some in plastic containers, obviously stolen goods. I knew now why Gordon didn't want us to search this cove. E.D., Eddie Delaney's air cylinder. This was something for the district attorney, but I didn't want Joe Gordon or his companion to discover me. My first reaction was one of incredulity. I couldn't believe that an experienced diver like Gordon would deliberately endanger a man's life by depriving him of his air. Why? Then it suddenly dawned on me. This was some sort of an initiation, an underwater hazing. A stupid, senseless kind of sadism. That's when I started to get angry. I could see that this man was new at skin diving and that he was terrified. It was apparent that any second now he'd panic. I got to him just in time. The diver was still frightened. I made a point of taking him up slowly.
Much better job than you did, boy. You've done so long to do the job. Come on, let's get her.
Let go of me!
What are you doing here? Where's Nelson? Who's she? The lousy spy. What do you want to do with it? Hang on to her a minute.
Gordon hit me with the force of a bullet. I used the air tank as a shield. away, but he came after me. He had a diving lung, and I didn't. He tried to keep me fighting until the air in my lungs was gone. Finally, I grabbed him in a judo hold.
All right.
We began to surface.
You heard what he said. Joe was trying to kill Mike Nelson.
I don't believe it. He's no murderer.
If you won't help me, I'll go myself. Are you all right, Mike?
Sorry I couldn't help you.
What's this all about?
Tell him. It was about Eddie Delaney.
Delaney?
Yeah, that's right. What do you guys got here, anyway? An underwater gang of some kind? That wreck down there is full of stolen stuff. How was Eddie Delaney involved in all this? I don't know what you're talking about. Come on. What happened to Delaney? All right. Let's see how long you can keep your breath. You gonna talk now? Are ya? Okay. You ready to talk? Yes. Did you kill him? Did you? Yeah. Why?
I didn't mean to. It was an accident. It was the final test at his initiation. I was down at 20 feet, and he was coming up. And he got panicky. He grabbed my air hose.
And you didn't give it to him, huh?
As God is my judge, I thought he'd make it on his own. He was my best friend.
Your best friend. What'd you do with his body? Huh?
I dragged it to shore and buried it on the coast.
Yeah? When the police started to investigate, you figured to make it look like Pete Bates killed him, and you planted the spear gun and then the knife, huh?
I was scared!
Are they in on this, too?
We didn't know anything about it. I swear we didn't.
We were all members of his gang, but just for kicks. That stuff down in the cabin, we just stole it for his initiations.
Hey, you better come along, too. Come on, you. The DA's waiting. So is Pete Bates. Let's go. Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. You know, 3/5 of the world is covered by the sea. And how little most of us know about that underwater world. Go below with us again next week, huh? For another thrilling adventure in Sea Hunt.
I was diving in the Red Sea with my friend Jim Barry, an archaeologist. I was helping him on one of his projects. We were searching underwater for the remains of an ancient temple, which Jim felt was more than a legend. Suddenly, Jim's wife, Anne, tossed our slate overboard. The slate said, "Come up." That could mean only one thing: trouble. It was trouble. It began for me in the old Arabian port of El Harafa. The old harbor was feeling the effects of a nearby American missile base. I was at the small boat harbor getting ready to go up the coast by water taxi.
Your passport, please. I'm Faisal Hassim, the chief of police.
It's in here someplace. Here.
I'm happy to meet you, Mr. Nelson. Commander Johnson suggested that I look you up. I am in trouble and I need your help. I know that you are on your way out to visit your friends, the archaeologist and his wife.
Yeah, that's right. Well, what can I do for you? What's your trouble, Mr. Hakim?
Late yesterday afternoon, a tank containing 10,000 gallons of a secret new explosive disappeared while en route to the guided missile base.
Disappeared? What do you mean? It was stolen?
Yes. And from my own men, I'm forced to admit. The tank has since been found, but the liquid is gone. Mr. Nelson, this explosive was worth many times its weight in gold to certain countries. And I was responsible for its safe passage.
Well, 10,000 gallons of liquid. That shouldn't be very difficult to find, especially in a country like this.
It must be found. The borders have all been closed, and we are watching every tanker in port.
Oh, well. What do you want me to do about it?
It is possible that the thieves have hidden the explosive near the coast.
Oh, I see. You figure they might be pumping it into a tanker, huh?
Exactly. Now, you and your friends will be cruising in one of the areas we have not yet covered. If you see anything at all that looks suspicious, please notify me immediately.
Okay, I'd be glad to.
We do not care if the explosive is recovered or if it is destroyed. The important thing is, certain people must not have it.
Oh?
Yes.
Well, keep my eyes open.
Be very cautious, my friend. There is something even more dangerous than the explosive. And that is the men who have stolen it. Thank you, Mr. Nelson.
Let's go, Ibn Ali.
No, I do not go.
What do you mean you don't go today? We made a bargain. I need your boat.
Take the boat. Now let's go. Now.
Ibn! Ibn! What made you change your mind? Ibn!
I was thinking about Hasim's bad news as I headed up the coast to meet the Barrys. I was also puzzling over the strange behavior of Ibn Ali. What was it that had frightened him off?
Honey, it's mine.
Hey, Mike!
Hi, Jim.
Oh, hi, Mike.
Hi, big fella.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Hi,
how are
Mike.
you?
Fine, thank you.
Boy, it's nice to see you guys. Looks like the wildlife really agreed to you. What a layout you got here, boy. All the comforts of home.
Everything but TV.
What have you found down below there, Professor? Any earth-shaking discoveries?
Oh, nothing really earth-shaking, Mike, but I got a couple of things to show you.
Huh?
There's more and more evidence that that temple is really down there. Now, with you here, maybe we'll find it, huh?
Maybe we will.
I thought you were bringing a boatman, Mike.
Yeah.
I was. Well, the last minute, he chickened out on me. He heard something that frightened him. I don't know what it was. Oh, he was really scared.
I'll bet I know. It was a sea serpent.
A what?
The sea serpent. I got it straight from the man who runs the bazaar.
That's nonsense.
He said that one was seen here yesterday afternoon, and there's not a fisherman who'll come out for any kind of money.
Look, you know what that is? It's superstition and ignorance.
I don't know. You know that most of the really deep water in the world is undiscovered. Do you know that? Who knows what might be living down there? And what might finally decide to come up. As we moved out, I told them about the stolen explosives and the instructions that I had gotten from Hasim. We watched the shoreline, but we saw nothing suspicious. We found one of the spots on Jim's maps and began our underwater search. Anne was in the boat, acting as our safety. I was not only looking for remains on the bottom, I was also observing the marine life, some of the most interesting in the world. Anne thought she was seeing things, but when she checked with the binoculars, she got a glimpse of something which made her forget all about diving and archaeology. She wanted Jim and me on deck as fast as possible.
I told you it's real.
Where? Where are your binoculars? Whereabouts?
Right over there.
I had never seen anything like it. Maybe we could track it down.
Take a look at that. Can't make it out. What's it look like to you?
I don't know, Mike. I can't figure it out.
A small boat was being chased at high speed. And as far as I could make out, what was chasing it was some kind of a strange, huge monster of the deep. My friends and I were following what appeared to be a giant sea serpent. And this sea serpent was chasing a fishing boat.
We're gaining on them.
Break out the shark rifle, Jim.
Think you can hit it from this far away, Mike?
I don't know. But I can try.
It disappeared.
Yeah, sure did.
The boat's stopping.
Keep on going, huh, Jim? We'll go up alongside of it. That thing that was following you. You must have got a good look at it. What was it?
I don't know. It was fantastic. Had a huge head, little eyes, a big jaw full of jagged teeth.
A big monster. I never seen anything like it. We couldn't get away from it.
What are you fellas doing out here? You doing a little fishing? What were you fishing for?
Sea bass. We chartered a boat at Al Harafa.
That's right. Yesterday we caught nothing. This morning, Torsten here, he hooked into something big. Then suddenly, from nowhere, this nightmare came up and swallowed it. Then he started to chase after us.
Let's get out of here, Mike.
That's a very good idea. Who knows when it may come back?
You gonna report this to the authorities when you get in?
Oh, yes, certainly. As soon as we return to Al Harafa.
I'll see you both ashore, huh?
I had sounded confident with Jim and Ann. I wasn't. I didn't tell them that I had spotted a third man in the cabin of that boat with a rifle.
Do you think they'll believe our story?
In a little while, it will not matter. You go monitor the radio to see if they make any calls. When they're out of sight, we will return.
Jim, get behind those rocks and stop, huh?
What? What's the idea, Mike?
I'm gonna go back and take a better look. Underwater.
That isn't funny, Mike.
I didn't intend it to be. They weren't being chased by anything. They were towing it. There was Irish pennant. A cut line dragging from their stern.
Towing? A sea serpent?
Oh, Ann, give me a couple of flares and some marker buoys, huh? Call Hassan and tell him what I'm doing, huh? I'll take over. Now, wait a minute. You better not. Wait till you get back on shore, huh? Those jokers are probably monitoring our radio now.
If my suspicions were correct, I wasn't going to have to face a sea serpent, but I was getting into something which could be worse. Just as I had figured, I found the strange shape on the bottom. It did look like a huge snake, but it was a tube made of nylon and covered with canvas. Undoubtedly, it was loaded with the missing high explosives. No wonder my shot had made them cut it loose. I hid behind a rock in time to see two divers descending, one of them with a spear gun. They were so close that I had to hold my breath to avoid showing any bubbles. I didn't know how long I could stand it. Finally, they disappeared toward the surface with a tow rope. I was able to breathe again. I realized that they were going to tow the explosive again. My only chance to keep up with them was to hitch a ride on the tail end of the tube. My air supply wasn't going to last too long at this rate. I didn't like to think of what would happen when it became exhausted. It was a rough ride for me. My arms ached from clinging to that rubber bomb, and my lungs ached with the effort that it took to breathe. I was groggy from the beating that I was taking. The pain in my arms was agonizing. I knew that I couldn't hold on much longer. Then, just as I felt I was about to slip off, we began to lose speed. The tow line had been cut loose, and the tube began to sink. They weren't wasting any time getting out of there, and I couldn't waste any time either. My air supply was just about gone. We had stopped in a deep cove close to shore. I went down for another look. A submarine. Coming in to pick up the tube. If I waited for help, it would be too late to do anything. The first frogman was already leaving the sub. I had to do something, and fast. When I had lighted an underwater flare and placed it in the canvas as a fuse, I took off my tanks and raced toward the shore and the surface. I hoped desperately that I could get out of the water before the explosion.
Can you see the periscope? Look! There's someone swimming! Must have been that man that stopped us! Go back! Go back! Go back! It's gonna explode!
The explosion had knocked me out cold. When I regained consciousness, there wasn't a trace left of anything. Then I heard a boat. It was the Barrys coming down the coast to find me. They had no idea that they were picking up a serpent killer.
Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is fun and adventure for young and old, but it can be dangerous. So know the sport well and don't take any chances. Be with you next week for another exciting sea hunt.